Welcome back to another episode of Building the Pride. I'm Drew, and I'm having some kind of seizure, and I'm joined as always by my co-host Mike. Mike, how are you?
I am doing fantastic, Drew. How about yourself?
Well, I got so I'm in my 90-day probationary period at work, and I got my 30 and 60-day reviews done today. And they do it on like a 1, which is poor, to like 5, which is good star review.
Yeah.
And my supervisor was like, "You're somewhere in between 4 and 5 stars." So coming from banking to being a mechanic, I was apprehensive, to say the least. Now I'm not as apprehensive, and me and confidence is a dangerous combination. So, but it does look like I will be getting hired in to the shop and the union in mid to late September. So there might be changes coming to the show. So we're going to have to talk about that between ourselves and have to update the dozens of people who that could affect. So
the dozens, yeah.
Or I don't know what's less than dozens, singles of people that could affect.
Yeah. The ones of people.
Yeah, the ones. I like that.
The single digits numbers.
How are you, Mike?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, doing good. Finished up working on the house down in Florida. And we are done with that. It was hotter than balls down there. I came back up here. We got back up Sunday, and then Monday morning, hop into some like shorts, because I work from home, shorts in a short sleeve polo shirt. I froze my ass off. It was so cold. So today I've got my long sleeve on. I got the Lions shirt on. I got jeans on, and far more comfortable today.
Good.
Much like Trey Hendrickson.
Oh my God, the segue.
It's a segue. Wasn't that great? That is high quality segues right there. Trey Hendrickson has got to be feeling a lot better today too.
Mm-hmm.
They finally paid the man.
They did
for
not.
this year. For this year.
Okay. Yeah, they gave him $14 million more for this season. He ends his hold in. Ridiculous. Yeah. Brings him up to roughly $30 million for this season, which is on par with what other top 5 to 10 pass rushers are getting. And he's certainly that. Like, even if he's not, quote unquote, like a Myles Garrett or a TJ Watt style disruptor, he has led the league in sacks, I believe, the last 2 seasons. So he's productive, if nothing else. So, and he probably deserves somewhere around this. But great. I mean, they need him because that defense is bad. I mean, like, the plan for that defense this year is that people play better. Neat. Could happen.
Yeah, that's essentially all it is, right?
Yeah. Hope they play better. All right. Get Trey Hendrickson in there. Give him way more money and hope they play better.
I mean, what are you going to do? Like, there's not an alternative. You can't not pay the guy. It was the worst part of your team, and it would have gotten worse without him, right?
One other thing about Cincinnati that I heard this weekend, and I think this is just emblematic of who these people are. They want to induct Boomer Esiason into their Ring of Honor. So they invited him to come to that awards show on his own dime. Like, that is who the ownership of the Cincinnati Bengals are. Like, you can be the best. And he has a podcast or a show. Hey, what's up, Donkey Kong? And you can give your body and your talent and your life, your professional life, to that city and that team, and they will honor you, but you have to pay to get there.
And I think he got 2 tickets to the game. or something. Like, I don't even think they were sweet. Like, you'd think it'd be in a suite or something, but I believe they were just 2 tickets that he can,
I'm sorry,
give to his families or whatever.
If you're the Bengals, you are setting what I consider to be a pretty dangerous precedent. Like, if you are on our team, this is how we treat you. If you are one of the best players to ever play for this team, this is how we treat you. And it's we're going to treat you cheap. They're cheap. And I don't know that you want to be considered the cheap franchise in the league that basically prints their own money. So I just don't understand it. The people who own the Bengals are still billionaires because the Bengals organization is worth $1 billion. And they are asking Boomer Esiason to pay for his travel and lodging so that they can give him an award. It just reeks of grossness as far as I am concerned. Like, if I'm a free agent, or if I'm somebody that's looking to go to another franchise, how low on that list should the Cincinnati Bengals be? Pretty low if I want to be treated well.
And we'll get into the other franchise that right now is on the bottom for treating players, which is the Dallas Cowboys. But I was talking with Kathy today at lunch about leadership, and that's what she does. She teaches leadership and communications and executive coaching, all that kind of stuff. So she's really good at the whole leadership side of things. And we were talking about coaching, and I was like, we actually started talking about the Bengals. And she's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, so here's the deal. They've got their best player. They're essentially refusing to pay the man. They're not treating him well in that way. They did the same thing to, was it T. Higgins or Chase or both? For a while, like, they held off paying them. They finally did. And I think I mentioned the whole, I might have mentioned the Boomer Esiason thing, but either way, like, this is a common theme for this team.
Yeah.
And then we kind of talked a little bit about Jerry Jones and Dallas and how he's treating his players. Like, I would love a book that is, granted, there's 32 teams, right? But like, so maybe it's going to take like 8 different authors, each focusing on a division. But I'd love to have a book that goes through all 32 teams. I've been bedded with this team for essentially a season, and look at the leadership and what are the teams like the Detroit's doing. Dan Campbell gets his guys to run through a wall for him. Brad Holmes has been drafting really well. We'll talk about a couple of the misses this time, but like, he's drafted really well. He's brought in a good team. Sheila Hamp brought in Chris Spielman into the fold. Barry Sanders got these guys in here, built a great leadership team, totally turned our team around. And then you have the Bengals, the Browns, the Cowboys, and like some of these teams that are just like on the leadership and organizational management side, just straight shit shows. And like, what is it that's causing, like, what is the special sauce that Detroit has, that LA has, that the Pittsburgh has? Like, what is it that they're doing right? What is it that these really poorly run franchises are doing wrong? And I would love to know like the inner workings of like what goes through their minds, what is going through the owners of the Bengals mind or the GM as to why. Oh, the other thing we talked about was their first round draft pick,
Shamar Stewart.
Yeah, like they haven't paid it. And has he signed yet?
Yes.
Oh, did he finally sign? Okay.
But so, if I can use one of my favorite terms, let me just use.
Yeah.
So I think that you were in Florida for that episode, but like, he got tuppence, which, if you've ever watched original Mary Poppins, is like a unit of currency in Britain that is given to children. It's so small. Like, he got tuppence for signing. It was effective. Like, all that for this. Like, I would be embarrassed if I was like, oh, I got my extra $12 from the Bengals. Now I can go to practice. You know
what that was? That was the interest that they earned by not giving to him earlier.
Yeah, I mean, like, I mean, like, come on. All right, go.
So we were talking about that, like, how they're treating their players and what's going through their mind, why are they dying on a hill of like, I'm not gonna guarantee this last $1.5 million. Your salary cap is $275 million, and you're talking about not guaranteeing $1.5 million 4 years from now.
Mhm.
Like, what is going through your? I would love like an expose, deep dive book into like all 32 teams and how they run. I don't know if it would interest you, but if there's any authors out there that are like leadership researchers, that I'm on board. You've already got a sale.
Yeah, let's just move on. I mean, like, I'm so sick of the fucking Bengals. So they're just a long time ago, I didn't like the Jets because I thought they ran their team like shit. And that's how I
You
feel
weren't
about
wrong.
Thank you. And that is now how I feel about the Cincinnati Bengals. I just do not get it. Their policy flies in the face of the way that not only the NFL, but the rest of civilization seems to work now. And I think it's the fact that the owners are in their mid to late 70s or 80s and are billionaires and acting like they
just don't
care. Family
care.
that raised Tiny Tim. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It
was the Fords before Sheila.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, Mike, such a good thing to say. So right. But like that, so if any Lions fan has any doubts about where this turnaround starts for the Detroit Lions, it starts in the ownership box with Sheila Hamp,
yep,
taking control of the team and making better decisions than Martha and William Clay IV ever made. And
they were incrementally getting better. Martha was better than William Clay.
Well, he died. So, I mean, like...
Well, right. I mean, yes. But I'm like, she did make better decisions. And then,
because he wasn't there to make them, right? So, like...
Yeah, that floor was so low.
But, like, when you look at teams like Carolina's owner, the owners of the Bengals, we're going to talk about Dallas, in a second. Like, it's just like, are you serious? Are you serious? This cannot... Any Lions fan should be able to now appreciate what good ownership means when you have invested owners who are invested in the same thing that all the people who work for them and the players and their fans are invested in, which is winning. And with winning comes respect and opportunities for greatness. And like, that's what when people identify with sports teams, they are identifying with a chance to share in greatness.
And that's why it's a we. Like,
yeah,
we won on Sunday, right? Yeah,
right. If you cannot understand, if you're someone who says, "Why are you saying we, dude? You're not on the field," that only tells me that you have never been a real fan of anything in your life,
right?
Because you don't identify with the success or failures, which I would argue are more important to Lions fans that are your my age. Where I work, it's you. If you don't identify with the failures, you don't get to count as a fan, which I don't agree with, but that's how most people act.
Right.
So ownership means a ton.
Yes. And we've said it for years in the Detroit Lions area. I mean, look at the Red Wings. You go back to the 80s. Mike Ilitch bought the Red Wings in like 1982. And they were called the Dead Things and the Dead Wings. And they brought somebody in that actually cared about the team. I don't even know who owned the team before the Ilitches did, but he comes in and he's like, I want this to be a winner. And they ended up, it took them a little while to go from what they were, the Dead Things, to the last, I would say, true dynasty. They went to 6 finals in 13 years, basically every other year. They won 4 cups. Half of their team is Hall of Famers in the Hockey Hall of Fame. Hell, they had 11 Hockey Hall of Famers just in their 2002 squad. You only dressed 21 guys. So, like, wow, right? So we had that there. The Ilitches bought the Tigers. They've been to a couple World Series. Now, granted, they're kind of up and down and not the consistency that the Red Wings were. And now we've got the Lions, and the Pistons were they really haven't. They won a championship in was it 08, 10ish, something like that, 12. So we've had some luck with the Pistons as well, but the Lions, and it was ownership right from the start, just like it was with the Red Wings back in the 80s. So on the Jerry Jones side, this was Darrelle Revis, very well respected Pro Football Hall of Famer. He's talking about, hey, as players, after every game, we don't have a choice. We are required to go up in front of the media. We're held accountable for what we do. And why is that not the case elsewhere? Why is it just the players? So the union leadership isn't being held accountable, and the owners are not being held accountable. And he's like, bro, like, we need to fix this.
Well, to answer his question, I'm not sure why he doesn't understand this, is that the players are the ones on TV. They play on TV. So that's why they go on TV, because they were the ones on TV who did the things on TV. And the owners and the GMs and the coaches were not on TV and playing on TV.
The coaches were, and but the coaches also do go in front of the media, right? The coaches and the players both do.
I would give a year off my life to never hear from another coach during halftime.
Oh yeah, halftime. But and maybe it's not the media side. I think he's more talking about accountability in general, not necessarily accountability in front of cameras, but or in front of the media, as far as standing at the podium and answering for themselves, but more within their organizational structures. So at least that's what my understanding of the union thing, because he's talking about why is it unacceptable to see our union leadership avoid that same responsibility now. So there's something in the union where they're not taking accountability for things they did or didn't do.
So that's easy. That's easy enough to fix. It's the same type of accountability that every American has to vote in and out their elected leaders. And that's if their union, which I imagine they're all a part of, has any kind of elected leadership positions, they vote these motherfuckers out. That's the accountability, is that you don't get the job anymore.
Yeah. Well, and even on the bottom is if current leadership remains in place, I think that's a not very veiled threat of get your ass in gear. You're not going to be
remember
reelected.
This same union leadership is the one that earlier this summer had this scandal break about colluding with owners to bypass union rules over some issue with the players. I don't remember exactly what. And that guy resigned due to public pressure. And then the dude that was supposed to take over for him, they found something on his ass. So he resigned from public pressure. And then they went out and they did a search, they always bring in some group that does a nationwide search or whatever. And they brought in somebody else to be an interim union head. And this whole year has been just a black eye for the NFLPA. So there's that. And then you have Darrelle Revis saying this. What it says to me is, if you were the players, I'd be calling somebody and saying we need to fix this. Let's fix this. And that means, people have phones and the internet now. So communication, pretty accessible,
We can communicate with vehicles on Mars. So there's no reason you can't call your rep.
Yeah, exactly. Call your union rep. And I would tell those union reps, I need you to do what a union rep's supposed to do. I need you to take this to the leadership and hold the leadership accountable. It starts with
why we're paying you.
Right. You have I have always felt that the union and the NFL have done a really good job advancing the overall popularity and profitability of the sport. And I think that the sport has gotten safer. I think that it has gotten more interesting. And I think that both sides have won out. Now, you want to argue, we could argue about who has won out more, but this collective bargaining agreement is a fucking crown jewel of organized sports across the world.
Yeah.
Like, it is wonderful. Like, I don't know that you should really ever tamper too much with this CBA, but if the union isn't living up to what the players need and like how the players should be represented, then that is a huge problem.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Jerry Jones, because he's straight trash. But I like the new kickoff. That's fine. When you don't like something, here's what I recommend doing. Consume a lot of it, and then it'll become normal. And then you won't hate it as much.
Normalize, right?
So I would watch just a shit ton of football this year, BD. So, and then before you know it, you'll be like, eh. And then you won't hate it anymore.
Yeah.
So Jerry Jones says that he offered Micah Parsons the largest non-quarterback contract in NFL history. I think that's not true. I don't know why. Mostly because I think the billionaire asshole who owns the world's most profitable franchise, or at least the most profitable franchise in NFL. Hey, Mike, do you know what the second most profitable franchise in the NFL is? You get one guess.
The Rams.
That's right.
Crunchy and the Rams.
Yep. Because they're in Los Angeles. So
turns out that's a really big market.
It's a huge market. There's lots of, I don't know. I've never been there myself, but I've been told lots of people live in Los Angeles. So
you've been told.
I've been told.
It's true. They did not lie to you. There's a lot of people. My best friend
lives in Los Angeles. So
I don't live in Los Angeles.
Well, it's not you. I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
You're on the list of best friends. Do with that whatever you might do with it. But if Micah Parsons, we were talking about this before the show came on. If Micah Parsons was offered the largest contract
quarterback
in NFL history, and he didn't take it, I think that's nuts.
And I think it tells you how bad that organization is to be in. Like, going to a place and working there and absolutely just hating what you're doing and hating who you're working for, it's miserable, right? So, like, I've done that before, and it was a miserable time, just regretting having to go to work. Before my working where I'm at now, and which I love, but like before that, I was there for 9 months, and I was the fourth guy, and I lasted longer than the previous 3 guys or something like that, and I was only there for 9 months before I left. It tells you how bad it was at that place. And if they would have paid me 50% more, I still would have left. Like, I just, it's not worth it. So their dollars and my dollars are totally different. I would still be working there if I got paid Micah Parsons money. I would have put that behind me and dealt with it. But like, when you don't have to, it really says something about how poorly run that organization is, both from a leadership standpoint and a player relationship standpoint.
Brian Schottenheimer, Marty Schottenheimer's kid. I don't think half the people left California. There's lots of people that live in California. So if you Micah Parsons put his Instagram out on his Instagram account, what his side of the story. I read it. He basically said that like his camp has been reaching out to the Cowboys for over a year to begin contract negotiations. Jerry has not written the Cowboys, whether it's their GM, their coach, or the owner, have not reached out to Parsons' agent. Now, Parsons has said all of that has to go through his agent. Well, that makes sense. You pay that guy a lot of money. So
that's what they're supposed to be doing.
Right. I am almost certain that the Dallas Cowboys organization negotiates with the other people's agents of their players on their team. I'm almost certain of it. For whatever reason, Jerry Jones has come out repeatedly this year and taken shots at Micah Parsons' agent. So there is bad blood there. And I don't know how this gets done. Like, whether it's the Trey Hendrickson thing, the Terry McLaurin thing, the Alex Anzalone thing, you know, whatever, Tuppence, right? Like, this one, which I still think gets done, this one has the best chance of him actively not playing for at least a while. Yeah, well, no one does. So, but anyways, Jerry's point was we offered Micah a contract. Now, this is the same dude who like sat down at a hotel bar or something with Jay-Z, who was his representation was representing like Terrell Owens or somebody, and they sketched some shit out on a napkin and got that deal done. And like, I get the feeling that that's how Jerry Jones wants to do business, like basically off of the like, we had a conversation over a drink, let's shake hands on it, kind of a methodology for doing business. Okay, like he is a billionaire, he owns stuff, so it's hard to say that he's not, it hasn't worked for him. But like, I think that Micah Parsons is not about to be like, yeah, let's, like, you sent me a text at 11:30 at, you know, or whatever on a Tuesday night, Jerry. I'm not going to take that and base my future off of it. You know, like, show me the paperwork or whatever, I think is what, like, I would say in his place. So I think that Micah Parsons has enough chops because of his talent and what he can, especially the shape that Dallas defense is in, where he can basically stand up to Jerry Jones and say, this is how we're going to do it. This is what I want. You're going to have to pay it. And if he doesn't get it, I still don't think that he can force his way out of Dallas because he's playing on his 5th-year contract and they can tag him twice. So,
yeah, I mean, how committed is he to this position? Is he so committed?
Not going to sit out more than a season.
But if they don't even have to tag him if he sits out a season, right? Because he wouldn't have accrued that 5th year.
That's interesting. So if he sits out, I know that he doesn't accrue a season as of having played in the NFL. However, he is still that all that money on the 5th year is guaranteed. So I don't know what other kind of provisions could be in the contract on a 5th year, because that's part of the CBA.
Right.
Because this is the 5th year of the rookie pay scale. So, and I don't have any idea.
He's making tuppence.
Right, tuppence. For what he's worth.
Yes.
I mean, like, he is arguably a top 3 pass rusher in the NFL.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So, like, Myles Garrett and TJ Watt are both making $40 a year on their extensions. What are the Dallas Cowboys? Get out of here, ads. God, I hate ads. Micah Parsons is making $24 million this year on his 5th year, and they can't cut him. If they cut him, they get 0 cap savings. It's a huge hit because it's all guaranteed.
They're still paying it.
Right. So, like, they won't cut him. That would be stupid anyways. If they're going to trade him, they would ask for, as you and I just talked about it before the show, a Ricky Williams style trade package it would take to get Micah Parsons. And then you have to give him the largest non-quarterback contract in NFL history, right? So what does that leave? Ultimately, the path that solves all of these problems for both parties is that Dallas just pays him what he wants, which happens almost every time in the NFL. Like, it's shocking how often it happens. Like, just do it. Why are you arguing and like dick measuring about something that you guys both know is going to get done in 5 weeks? Like, just end it. And like, but like, the thing about Jerry Jones is that he is of the opinion that, like, any news is good news. Like, he'll be in the press for good reasons. He'll be in the press for bad reasons. Like, to him, it's the same.
It was like the Madonna marketing, right? Back in the 80s. Hey, good press, bad press. Any kind of press is what you want.
They don't need to extend Micah. James Houston just made the 53. That's the reason they need it. So we could talk about some other people, Mike, but like, let's talk about the Lions.
Well, this is our segue to the Lions. We're going to talk about some others and the Lions. So at Fox NFL, their NFL writer listed their top contenders. We are in that Super Bowl contenders list. We're the only two, along with Philadelphia, in the NFC. The other three are AFC teams.
That tracks.
One break away. I don't know. I guess, what are your thoughts on this? Like, I feel like
they're all lies.
They're all lies.
So there are the top contenders, and then the people that those teams beat, and that's the rest of the NFL, as far as I am concerned. So what would it take? So let's look at the 6 teams,
right,
that are one break away. They're one break away from beating 2 or 3 of those teams in a row. I don't see it.
Well, so think about Washington, right? They got to the NFC Championship game against Philadelphia. I don't think they ended up being one break away. There wasn't like one interception or fumble or something like that that could have gone the other way.
Right.
But maybe this year, with the improvement from them, and maybe Philadelphia takes a little micro step back, or even if they don't, but Washington gets better, maybe that is one breakaway. Cincinnati, similar-ish. If they would have just won one more game in the first 7 weeks, they were the hottest team in the NFL the last 5-6 weeks. But that's why you play all 17. Like, the first ones matter just as much as the last ones, right? One break earlier, and maybe they are dangerous in the playoffs. So I kind of get that.
This is the most overrated team in the NFL. Cincinnati Bengals are the most overrated team in the NFL.
I don't know,
because
there's a lot of overrated teams.
They're the most overrated. So
yeah, I can see that. Yeah,
how are the Rams not one break away because the rest of the roster is not very good?
Well, last year they were essentially one play away from beating the Eagles.
Yeah, and then of course, and if that had happened, then this and all the dominoes fall down, and you have an argument for every team like that. But like, this isn't. I mean, like, you and I will disagree about this. I view them as being very overrated too. Like, I think that their defense, which played exceptionally well for them, kept them in games last year. I think that there's questions on their offensive line, even though I think that they've made improvements. I think that there are questions about depth at basically every position on the team. I think Matthew Stafford he's 37 and has just today, I believe, or this week, fully practiced without restrictions for the first time. So, I mean, like, whether that was an agreement between him and the team to like effectively take the preseason off just for like rest purposes, or if there's a legitimate problem, then okay. But now we're 2 weeks, 13 days away from the start of the season, and he's practicing. Now he's a veteran, so I don't think that's going to hurt him very much. But we've talked about like getting, like Jared Goff, like getting in rhythm with his receivers. He has a new receiver that he's never played with, and Devonta Adams. Like, you know, I think that it
doesn't take 18 months to 2 years to have to get into rhythm like others.
Sure.
But it's good to get that rapport either way, right?
So, exactly. Like, I don't know that I see too much difference between the Rams and the Packers, but I also don't think the Packers should be there. I don't think that Houston should be there. Houston is starting 5 new offensive linemen. That's not 5 offensive linemen playing new positions. They're playing 5 new offensive linemen from last year.
The whole O-line is different.
Yes. Yeah. Like Tampa Bay, they're already down their number 3 wide receiver, and Tristan Wirfs has been hurt. And Pittsburgh, really? I mean, like, are we just is the defense going to score any points? Because they're going to have to. I mean, like, come on. Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers is going to be there.
I mean, like,
hey, he won a Super Bowl 15 years ago. Don't forget that.
I would, yeah, exactly. I mean, I would take 3 of these teams off of the second tier, and like the Broncos and Vikings being realistic, like up and coming teams. Like I would give the Broncos the up and coming tag, but like they squeaked into the playoffs last year in place of the Bengals. And the Vikings have a rookie quarterback. I like their quarterback, but he's still a rookie.
Yeah.
You know, and like the Chargers are there, but they lost their left tackle. And they have questions at like skill positions, and
I feel like the Vikings should be under potential Cinderellas.
I don't even think they're that good, to be honest. I mean,
well, I don't think, but if JJ, and I don't think he is, but if JJ has a season like Jaden Daniels has, they could be a Cinderella team, right? Like if
if
this
anybody
happen?
has a season like Jaden Daniels had, I mean, like they have a chance.
It's Cinderella,
right?
Yeah. Where's that slipper?
So,
but like, yeah. And on the fringe, the Cowboys are not on the fringe.
No.
I don't think the San Francisco 49ers are on the fringe either. They're, to be honest, both of those would be Cinderella teams if they made the playoffs or got deep in the playoffs.
To me, they got the top line right, and then I have a huge problem with basically everybody else on the list. So I mean,
yeah,
I don't see
who
the
would you
rest.
Say your number 3 in the NFC is? Like if you had to say, all right, the top 3 AFC, top 3 NFC. I'm assuming those are your top 3 in the AFC, and 2 of the top 3 in the NFC. Who would be your third? Would it be Washington, Green Bay, or LA? I feel it's got to be one of those, right?
Well, I was just going to say, can I have a 3-way tie?
Is it those 3?
Yeah, because it is those 3, and like, and I think that the fact that you and I agree so quickly on that is pretty clear indication that there's a discrepancy between the top
tier
2 and the next tier.
Yeah.
And like this is who's in that next tier. And I want to put Tampa Bay up there, but like that division is so bad that I don't know how good they really are. I mean, like they have been in the playoffs. They've played the Lions tough. They beat the Lions week 2 last season, you know, like so that team is not a pushover, but I don't know. Like I don't see them being on the same level.
Agreed.
So, yeah. Okay, let's talk about the Lions.
Yep. So we'll start with this one. Tim 20 minutes. Dan Campbell said this is the best he's felt about the roster from top to bottom in his 5 years here in Detroit. That's a good sign because we were 15-2 last year and made the NFC Championship game the year before. So like this is. And unless this is just coach speak, just blowing smoke to always pump up the current team and the current players. But like, if he truly feels this way, that's good news.
So I think a lot of this is coach speak. I think that this is very easy coach speak to have because the Lions have very clearly, across any number of criteria, have improved. And so it's easy to feel better about the roster, in my opinion, especially now that like they're going into year 5. You know, their rookies have gone to veterans. You know, like they're entering into like another like stage of what this roster is. So and like it's very truly. What is this?
Ignore it.
Okay, so it is very truly, I think, the best roster that they had. Like there's a lot of people on this roster that are getting better from year to year, right? What about Houston? Their O-line is healthy. Yeah, but their O-line is trash even when they're healthy. And like they traded a top 5 left tackle to Washington. So I mean, like unless they just happen to be good, then I don't know. Yeah, it's going to be a rough season in Houston. I'm glad that he feels this way. I'm happy he said this as opposed to, I don't know. I don't feel very confident about the roster.
Yeah. Last year was better, but I think we can still,
certainly took a step back. So, I mean, not bad. Good to hear it.
ESPN's top 100. I believe this was as voted by the players. Their players are voting for each other. We ended up with a lot of guys in the top 100, which is pretty cool. Sewell and Hutchinson both in the top 20. Gibbs, 33. St. Brown, We have both of our safeties in the 51-60. Jared Goff at 66 and Sam Laporta at 83. Is there anybody that you think is missing from this, or do they pretty much hit every? If Ragnow was playing, he would have been another one, right? He would have probably been in the top 60 or so as well, maybe top 80. I'm not sure how much respect centers get, but like he was really well respected. But like,
wow, I think the right players are on the list. So I don't know about.
Are you surprised J-Mo didn't make the top 100?
No, I'm not.
No.
He's had.
Do you think he will next year?
One quality season under his belt. So if he has, I would say, if Jameson Williams this upcoming season has the exact same season that he had last year, I think you probably should talk about him being in the top 100 players. I don't know that it gets him in. I mean, he's in a rough spot, like for a list like this, in my opinion, because he started so slow and like his maturation has not been a quick or easy process. So like,
right.
If he starts producing, then I think that he
needs to explode.
There's not. I mean, he had 1,000-yard season, even though they kind of gimmicked his 1,000 yards and then took him out of the game.
But if he ends up with like 1,600 yards and 14 touchdowns, right?
Yeah.
And the only reason he can do that, I don't think you can have two of our. I don't think St. Brown can be in the top 50 and J-Mo in the top 100, because if J-Mo is going to explode, that means St. Brown has to dial back.
Well, so the only way that here's what I'll say about that. I think that you're making a good point, because St. Brown is a target black hole. Like he just sucks in all the targets, right? So like he's going to get 150, 175 targets this year, and he's going to have over 100 catches, right? So J-Mo has to be fine producing, like to hit 1,600 yards and 14 touchdowns. He would need to see his target share increase. But like that would have to look something like Morton has a package in store for how he's going to be used, and it's going to be, you're not just doing 9 routes. And like at the beginning of the season, he'd have to have like an absolute 4 or 5 game stretch where it was just like, and they hit him for 3 explosive plays each game, and he's got 7 or 8 touchdowns in the first 5 games, and like, 150, 170 yards receiving or and he's just on an absolute tear. Then I think that he could get there with roughly the same target share over the season, which would be awesome. But like,
right.
But
which means the only other way he gets there is via injuries, right?
So if something has to happen,
because he has to take somebody's targets,
right?
So either somebody is going to get less targets, be either due to injury or poor performance. So like I don't see St. Brown losing targets due to poor performance. So if he's going to take any of St. Brown's, like enough to be that big of explosive, it's only because St. Brown had an injury. Same with Laporta. Right. Same with Jahmyr Gibbs. Like those touches, instead of being handoffs, they're going to have to be additional throws. I just don't see him doing enough outside of some freak injury thing that just gives him a lot more playing time or a lot more targets.
Yeah, St. Brown is going to have somewhere between 2 and 3 more times the targets as the next highest player. And then like it's St. Brown at like, it's basically what it is. It's Laporta, J-Mo, and Gibbs all getting roughly the same target share over the course of a season. And St. Brown is somewhere between 2.5 to 3 times that number.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, you just have to, like, I mean, he's the only place it can come from. Yeah. Otherwise, you're not utilizing the other 2 guys at all. So,
right.
I just don't see that happen. I mean, injury is the only thing that, like you said.
And last, it's cut day, right? So Monday was cut day. We had a whole bunch of roster changeover. So this was the list Detroit Lions News Podcast listed. I don't know if we can get this. We can get a little bit bigger. So Ezekiel Turner on reserved/injured. Ahmed Hassanein.
I want to talk about this.
Okay, yeah, let's do it.
He's their 6th round pick this season in this draft 4 months ago.
You're talking
and they
about
waived him. So he has a pec
with injury.
He has a pec. I mean, like he's not out the season.
Yeah.
So like it doesn't even require surgery. He just has to rehab it.
Wasn't he the guy that said that like he would die for Campbell? Like I die on the field for you kind of thing.
So here's the other thing. They have kept 3 edge players. They have kept Davenport, obviously Aiden Hutchinson, and hang on 1 second. I have it up here. 1 second. Al-Qadim Muhammad. Josh Paschal has been placed on NFI. They cut Nate Lynn, Isaac Ukwu, and Mitchell Agude. So this team has 3 defensive ends on it right now. Obviously not the number that they are going to go into week 1 with. But like he was on a rookie deal. That's gone. Yeah. So here's what's going to happen now.
James Houston did the same thing.
This is exactly the James Houston thing. This is the James Houston thing all over again. I have no idea why you would cut him. It seems completely ridiculous. This is the first guy that they have cut in the year that they've drafted him that I'm aware of from the roster. I don't know why. There is either something else going on. It's not the injury thing.
Well, he got the injury settlement, right? So he got paid of some portion of his salary or of his. So because when you have a contract, you can be guaranteed for one of 2 things: injury or performance. Like you can't get cut for no reason. That's one guarantee. But you can get cut if you're injured. And then there's the injury guarantee. So when you hear fully guaranteed, it's guaranteed from both injury and performance
Jeremy Reisman over at Pride of Detroit wrote this. So I'm going to read this. It's not on the screen. Okay. Detroit Lions have waived 6th-round pick Ahmad Hassanein with an injury settlement, according to the team press release. Here's what that means. Hassanein is now subject to the waiver wire process, but with an injury designation. It's unclear if any team would be willing to claim him. He would have to join that team's 53-man roster immediately, and given that he's expected to miss significant time with a pec injury, it seems somewhat doubtful he'll be claimed. If Hassanein clears waivers, he'll be a free agent. That he would be free to sign anywhere he pleases, but again, he's injured. There is also a fairly common path he could take to come back to the Lions. After the length of the injury settlement, which is agreed upon between the player and the team, based on how long he's expected to miss with the injury, plus 3 weeks, Hassanein could re-sign with the Lions. So if the Lions expect the rookie defensive end to miss 6 weeks, they could sign him after 9. There are often unofficial agreements between player and team to reunite after injury settlements. The Lions have done this with Maurice Norris and CJ Moore in the past. All that being said, if the Lions wanted to keep him, it's very strange that Detroit opted to use this strategy rather than to use one of their 2 injury reserve to return spots they could have used at cutdowns. It's possible the Lions wanted to save their maximum of 8 IR to return designations for the entire season after they almost exhausted all of them last season. Still, with their initial roster cut reducing the team to 50 players, 3 fewer than needed, this is a bit of a puzzling move.
Interesting.
Does this work the same way? Like, what are we? When we re-signed him after camp, he was on a shorter 2-year deal. We have effectively lost 2 years of team control before, so that happened. Yes, it does. They have voided his rookie deal by waiving him. That's an excellent insight, Detroit fan man. So no matter what reason they have for waiving him, the opportunity cost of this move is they have now given up him playing on a rookie deal for 4 years.
Yeah.
So if they re-sign him, it's for 1 year, probably.
Or 2. I mean, typically 1.
Right. Like now it's open to it. It's not going to be 5 years. Like this is so completely weird and against type for the Lions that it makes me think this wasn't performance-based. This isn't injury-based. Is there personality clashes in the building? Is there a situation that he was in that we are not privy to yet, like a domestic violence charge or something? Like I almost more expect that to be to come to light, because from a performance or chemistry based reason why this guy isn't on the team, it doesn't make any sense at all to me.
The only thing that makes sense to me, especially since we cut down to 50 instead of 53, they've got their eye on other guys.
Oh yeah,
maybe it's the Darius Smith, maybe it's somebody from a different thing, and they're like, he's not going to make our team even then, right? Like we've already got our eye on these other three guys, and he's not better than the other three, and we don't want to waste a injured to return slot on somebody who wouldn't make our 53 even after we go off to the waiver wire. So that's the only thing that makes sense to me. In general, I think Brad's done a really good job of working this roster, doing it well. So in Brad, we trust on this, but I was really curious as to why. At some point, I'm hoping that we do find out what that overall plan was. I'm sure we will.
I still don't. I mean, like, it took multiple years for what happened with James Houston to come to light.
Yeah.
You know, and like they got him back in the building and he was here for another 2 years, you know, before ultimately he wasn't on the team anymore. And I'm like, if they are treating this guy like they treated James Houston, I would have to assume it's for James Houston reasons. You know, in like 4 months.
Which essentially he wasn't good enough, right? He wasn't putting the effort in, right? Wasn't that the...
So here's the other thing is, like, 4 months ago, they were sure enough about this guy to use a draft pick on him, a late round pick, right? 6th round. But you still scout them. You got to calm down, dude. You got to relax.
That's funny.
Yeah, it is funny. They did their homework on this guy for the draft. What has possibly changed in 4 months? I mean, I know that like things can happen. I know he got hurt, but like he got hurt working to be on the team.
Yeah.
You know, he wasn't out there like doing that game where like that Russian slap people in the face as hard as you can game or whatever and tore his pec. He's fucking playing football. You know, like it's so weird to me. I would be like, if I was a journalist and I had access to the lines, I would be like, Brad, why did you cut Ahmad Hassan? Can I have the real reason?
Yeah.
I won't even
off
write
the record. Like off the record. Can you just tell me what's up?
This is so weird. It's so weird to me.
So there were a couple other things that caught my eye. Dan Skipper was released. We talked about that.
Guy released. Right? Yeah. Well, second guy released.
And so there's a difference between released and waived. If I recall correctly, you can waive a guy and then assign him to your practice squad if he clears waivers, whereas released is gone, you're out the door. Like there's no going on to the practice squad at that point. So this is assuming that my assumption on that is correct. I'm a little surprised on that, just from he's been with us. And I thought if he was good enough to play, you know, even as a depth guy last year, is he not at least good enough to put on our practice squad for depth? So that one was a little bit of a shocker. Tom Kennedy didn't really surprise me. He's always right at that bubble.
The practice squad player.
I'm a little surprised, but he was released, right? He wasn't waived to go to a practice squad. So
the only difference in waived and released is how long you've been in the NFL.
And whether you have to clear waivers, right? So another team has an opportunity to get you.
One immediately goes to free agency and one has to go through the waiver process. But that is determined by how long you've been in the NFL. So
and to your point, we had several edges. We didn't keep as many as we thought, but we also didn't keep 53 guys. So there's got to be a plan there. We can't not talk about Hendon Hooker.
Sure we can. He was bad. He got beat out by a journeyman quarterback who had one 15-minute window in the NFL where he played well. That's it.
Yeah.
He just played bad.
And that's disappointing, right? Like he was a 3rd round draft choice and he was a miss. Broderick Martin, He's the other miss that's on here. It's really disappointing to see these guys at their draft positions not work out. Now, granted, you're not going to hit on everybody, and Brad hits on more than most anybody, right? But it's a real bummer when you see these guys not hit. So
my problem with, I don't have a problem with Hooker. Like, he's a 27-year-old quarterback who played in a
27-year-old rookie.
Yeah, he was a 27-year-old rookie or whatever. And he played in a system at Tennessee that literally cannot be played in the NFL because the hash marks are in different places. So, I mean, should you be able to overcome where the hash marks in the NFL? Yeah, but like Hendon Hooker has some stat in this preseason where he is like, he has 20 offensive drives with a field goal to show for it, 3 picks and 2 fumbles. So he turned the ball over one quarter of the time. They scored no touchdowns when he was on the field. And this was against third stringers. He's playing with third stringers against third stringers. He couldn't get the job done. Kyle Allen had a miserable first game and then outplayed him by spades every other game. So
he didn't play amazing every other game, but he played amazingly better
compared to Hendon Hooker. He looked like a Hall of Famer.
Right.
So, there is no doubt, and I don't believe that anybody could make the argument that if you watch those two guys play, and you said if Jared Goff cannot play for the Detroit Lions for any amount of time this year, which one of these two guys do you think can better implement the offense that the Detroit Lions are going to run? If anybody says Hendon Hooker, you just have to discredit everything else they say for the rest of their lives. So I think they made the only choice to be a backup quarterback. They're not going to keep 3 quarterbacks, right? Like, I don't believe that was ever an option because of also how they behaved with their roster after cutdowns. Like, they didn't cut down to 53 guys. They cut down to 50.
Right.
So, like, they're not even considered. I mean, like, they have the room right now to have a third quarterback, and they elected not to. And that's why I'm like, they're not going to keep
the room for a third, fourth, and fifth quarterback.
Right. Like, if all the dudes playing in Cleveland wanted to hop on over, Well,
one of them just got traded, didn't he?
Yep. Kenny Two Gloves is now a Raider. So,
yeah. Welcome to Las Vegas.
Yeah. Yep. He's going to fit in great there. So, Mike, I want to share my screen if I can, please.
Real quick, I wanted to mention one of the guys that both of us were pretty high on.
Yeah,
was Jackson Meeks, and I was really surprised to see him on this list. I want to kind of get your reaction to seeing him on this list as well.
I thought he played his way onto the roster. Here's what I take away from this, is that Brad is not going to keep a UDFA over a 7th round pick that he drafted, even though he gets outplayed. And I'm talking about Dominic Lovett from Georgia. Yeah. So that kid is going to be the second gunner opposite Khalil Dorsey on special teams on punts, and that's why he's on the team. And Jackson Meeks is just had the best preseason of any Lions wide receiver, maybe outside of Isaac TeSlaa. So,
yep.
And considering that the last couple guys is pretty telling.
Yep. And then we've got McNeil and Rodrigo on the pup, Miles Frazier, and the NFI Josh Pascal. That kind of rounds it out. So I will hand off the screen sharing to you.
So I'm going to do what Mike did. I'm just going to break it down by position. If
I've got 20-mins breaking down the initial 53.
He's got what? 20-min? Hang on 1 second. Here we go. Did I find it? Can everybody see it? No, they can't.
Nope.
Here we go.
No,
I'll make it bigger. Nope, that's smaller. All right. Go away. Okay. Quarterbacks on the roster. Jared Goff and Kyle Allen. Great. Running backs on the roster. Gibbs, Montgomery, Craig Reynolds, Sione Vaki. Great. That's the same 4 they had last year. Wide receiver. St. Brown, Jamison Williams, Tim Patrick, Khalif Raymond. That's the same that was on the roster last year. 2 rookies, Isaac TeSlaa, who's probably going to be a full-time contributor sooner rather than later. and Dominic Lovett. Both these guys were drafted by Brad Holmes. They're both on the opening day roster. I'm not surprised about it at all. Tight end, Laporta, Brock Wright, Shane Zylstra. Those are the three guys they had last year. Zylstra was being pushed by Kenny Yeboah. Kenny Yeboah had a season-ending injury. Therefore, Zylstra has won that battle. Offensive tackle. 4. Interesting group. Penei Sewell, Taylor Decker, clearly the favorites. The Eternal Project, Giovanni Manu, who everybody agrees is making strides but is not ready for big snaps. And Jamarco Jones, who was injured most of the preseason and still managed to beat out Dan Skipper. Now, Jeff Risdon over at Detroit Free Press, I think, says, put out a tweet today that indicated from the people in the Lions organization that he talked to, it's simply a performance-based reason why the Lions cut Skipper. I've seen nothing to indicate anything else. Nailed it. So
I don't think it's going to be okay.
Yeah. So Skipper just lost his job to a guy who was hurt. In a project. What this says to me is one of two things. Either the current tackle 3 is not on the roster and they have their eyes on somebody who's coming off someone else's roster. There's a trade in the works for somebody, for some low day 3 draft pick. Or we got to pray that Taylor Decker and Penei Sewell don't get hurt, because neither one of those guys is anywhere close. And the guy that I'd be really worried about is Decker. Because,
well, obviously his age and he also had a pec injury, which a lot of guys don't come back from at all. And he came back and has played really strong.
Okay, so Mike, I know we're not going to do our bold bets, but I am going to give you a sneak peek on my bold bet for the offense. Here's our interior offensive lineman. Glasgow's your center. Mahogany's your left guard. Ratledge is your right guard. Frazier's hurt. Your backups are Coyote Iwashika is going to back up whichever guard gets hurt or can't play. And Kingsley Aguyakun is the backup for Graham Glasgow on paper.
Okay.
My bold bet for the Lions offense this year is that both Mahogany and Ratledge have PFF scores above 80.
I'd love to. I think Ratledge, the way where he was drafted and what he was in college and what he was expected to perform out of, as a rookie, I think that makes sense. Mahogany, that's an interesting one. That's a little bit bolder.
Well, go back and check his PFF score. Now, I know he was playing next to Frank Ragnow and not Graham Glasgow last year, but he crushed it last year. So even if he comes down from those scores, I still feel pretty confident about 80. So this is the position group. Will someone please join me on I'm worried about the edge position on the Detroit Lions roster. Please. So
Zadarius Smith has got to be
this has got to be
called him yet, right?
I wouldn't be surprised if we heard about it in the next 24 hours, to be honest. But here's once again the problem. Aiden Hutchinson is not coming off the field for very many snaps. Zadarius Smith, what he does well is what Aiden Hutchinson does well. And you're not going to take Aiden off the field. Marcus Davenport, if he sticks around, I think can be good. He had a good 4 games before he got hurt, but he got hurt, right? Al-Qadim Muhammad played his way onto the roster. I'm really happy for the guy. Once again, he does what Hutch does.
Right.
So you got 3 Hutches. The problem with that is that Hutch is the first Hutch. So you're not sacrificing snaps from Aiden Hutchinson so that Zadarius Smith can get on the field.
So do you think they're just changing what they want from their edge? And maybe do they want 2 Hutches going forward instead of
that
a different style on the other end?
So the only thing that I think
D coordinator, right?
That's true. Here's the thing. Here's what I would say to that. Davenport is still on this roster. So,
you'll have packages where you don't double Hutch.
Sure. Yeah, that's
right?
true. Pascal is more of a Davenport than he is a Hutch. Okay.
Mhm.
Hassanine is more of a Davenport than he is a Hutch. So I think that you still have, but they cut him. They waived him. I don't get it. So
Right.
Pascal's probably a month out. He's probably gonna miss like 4 games or something. So to me, this says you're going out and getting depth somewhere else. There's no depth here. Those are all 4 of those guys, maybe not Muhammad, but if Pascal's healthy, him and Davenport and Pascal, and I would even throw Zadarius Smith on there if he was on the roster, are all going to play starter level snaps just through rotation. So like there's effectively no depth at this position that I can tell, unless, and I will scroll down because I'm not on the same page right now, Mekhi Wingo can play outside. He's just a little bit bigger than Pascal. So there could be a jumbo alignment where he is your edge setter. Okay. But we kept DJ Reader, makes sense. Tyleik Williams, makes sense. Roy Lopez, who they signed in the offseason. Pat O'Connor, who's probably going to be on this team for a while. Mekhi Wingo, thank God he's back. And Chris Smith. And this is the guy that's coming off the roster whenever Aleem McNeil comes back. And Aleem McNeil could be back as early as October, somewhere in October. So we don't have a clear indication. He's certainly not practicing. We don't have any updates on his rehab right now. It's all just speculation. So if McNeil comes back, this is a real healthy group, absent Chris Smith. Without McNeil, I think you get by with Reader and Williams, and you hope for good play from the Lopez O'Connor Wingo scenario, right? Having Mekhi Wingo back is actual 3 technique depth behind Tyleik Williams. So I like that. Linebacker, Anzalone, Campbell, Barnes, Stewart, Nowaski, Cunningham, 3 backups, 6 deep. I like it. When Rodriguez comes back, Cunningham is coming off this list. I don't think Ezekiel Turner is anything but a special team.
Yeah, and one of the things that I'm kind of following along on the Tim Twentyman's breakdown of the 53 man, and one of the things that he was talking about was how Pittman and Gilbert, Anthony Pittman and Deron Gilbert, the ones that basically got cut. He said that they could be good practice squad potential guys for not just depth at linebacker, but they're also good special teamers as well. So we might see those guys sliding over to the practice squad.
Yeah, absolutely. Cornerback, Terry Arnold, DJ Reed, those are your 2 outside starters. Amik Robertson's your nickel. He can also play outside. Dorsey is a straight special teamer. Avonte Maddox is your backup nickel. So he is Robertson's backup. He could be your dime nickel. So when you play 6 DBs. Safety, speaking of playing 6 DBs, they have 8 on this roster. So can you bring your list back up just real quick, Mike? Brian Branch, Kirby Joseph, Rock Ya-Sin are the 3 safeties that they kept. They cut They cut every other DB on the roster outside of the dudes they drafted and the 2 guys they went and signed, 3 guys they went and signed in the offseason. Right. So like Dan Jackson is hurt. They drafted him. Ennis Rakestraw is lost for the season. They drafted him. And like, I like Ennis Rakestraw, but like he's on the path to not making the roster. So like,
right. He's on the Broderick Martin path. You got to get healthy.
The guy we signed from the 49ers 2 years ago, is he even in the league? The guy. I know who they. It's Emmanuel Mosley.
Was he with the Niners?
Yeah, for a while.
Oh, okay.
You wouldn't know that because he didn't play because he was hurt. So, I don't know if Mosley is on a roster. I could find out if I went to like PFF and just typed in his name to see if he was currently on a roster. I don't care.
It's fair.
Not to be an asshole BD buster. Like it's a legitimate question, and I don't mean to be flippant about it, but like he effectively never played for the Lions, and like they kept him on the roster for 2 years, and
Easy money.
Well, I have like I'm starting to get tired of the like bet small on the guy that's hurt strategy that we've employed numerous times now. It has not worked out. And like if it has worked out, if we looked at each case by case and we find the ones that did work out, I don't know that makes up for all the misses. And like those are lottery tickets, right? Most of them are going to be misses. But it's like the last place on the roster that I'm kind of like, if you got rid of this policy and just stocked it with healthy players, whether they're UDFA rookies or whatever, like I think that you would have a better overall roster. And I don't know why we don't do that. So I'm starting to really resent the.
I think there's probably some of it has got to be a cost things, like a cost per ceiling, right? Like, hey, if the person comes back healthy, doesn't lose a step, and gets back to where they were playing before, then we actually get great value out of it. And if one of those hit every third guy, like on average, we're getting more value than we're losing potentially. It's got to be something along those lines, when a financial risk management type of deal. But I think the opportunity cost is actually getting somebody on the field, right? Like if he doesn't play on the field, then those two guys that you're like, well, we missed on these two, but we got this one. Well, we had two guys that we had to fill that spot for. So,
yeah, I was thinking about this today. Like they have guys like Broderick Martin who got cut, Giovanni Manu. They're projects, right? Like even Vaki to a degree is a project. Switch positions, fourth running back, primary special teamer, like that kind of stuff. Like they have a number of projects on the team. And I was thinking like you have guys like Mahogany and Frazier that fell in the draft because they had injury, or like Mahogany's legs are weird, so like no one wanted to draft him. It's like the Moneyball problem. Like Billy, this is Chad Grayson. His defect is he throws funny, or whatever. Like, so that kind of thing. But like they have made up, like if you found Christian Mahogany and he plays at like a average level, and every indication is that he's going to play at a higher level than that. But if you played at an average level and you got him in the 6th round, like that 6th round pick has outplayed its draft position, right? So I've been curious about how many of those guys have you improved from their draft position, like the Mahoganies, like the Corby Sorsdals, the Miles Fraziers potentially, and how many have you missed on, like the Broderick Martins, like the Levi Muzariques, that type of thing, and like where those might average out? I don't really know, but I think it's an interesting question to kind of see, like, where's the sweet spots for like Brad Holmes drafting, and he's done a great job.
right.
There's no doubt about that. But like, I also think this team, could be could have more than 3 edges on it right now, So, I'm kind of not surprised that the Lions went down to 50, because they've always treated the back end of their roster as like, well, in this matchup, we want to bring this guy up off the practice squad for a specific reason.
Right.
And so they've always left some roster spots open in order to accommodate like that kind of roster flexibility. Or maybe they just want to go out and poach a couple dudes who hit the market, but like I went over the guys who got cut off the other 31 teams rosters today, and I'm just like, I don't think anybody's just jumping out at me, like,
right.
So I don't know. I think Zadarius Smith is now a lock for this roster. I just don't know when, and like, I'm thinking like OT3, safety depth, where is it? So
yeah,
I'm real happy, and like Dan's confident. Like he's like, this, best I've seen the roster in 5 years or whatever with these 50 dudes. So I still think they're going 15-2. Like, I don't get me wrong, but like
we can go from anywhere from 12 wins to 17 wins.
Yeah.
And it all depends on a bounce here. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, right? That interception that they drop, or the tipped pass that we intercept for a pick, just those kinds of things can happen. But I think we are capable of beating all 31 teams in the league at a coin flip. Like, even when we were 6-10, we were capable of beating all 31 teams in the league, but it would be a really hard for the good ones. It was like, yeah, we could beat them maybe 1 out of 20 times, but we could do it, 5% of the time. I think we can beat 31 teams at least at a 50-50 clip, or better. So it could be 17. It could be as far down as 12. I don't think it's any less than that, barring some major injury. If we lose Goff, I think we're a 500 team.
I don't think I hope if they lose Goff, I hope they can beat people running the ball. I mean, like,
yeah, and we could, right? Our run game is real good. So I don't think. Do you think we finally lose 2 in a row this year? I don't think so. Let's take a look at our schedule. So we got. So let's first talk about like which teams do we think we could lose to? We're in Green Bay. Green Bay's a decent team. Could we lose to them? Sure.
No.
It's not like a 100% victory, but they're good.
They're not.
I think we will beat them.
Yes.
I think we will beat them. Don't get me wrong. But if we lose to them, are we losing to Chicago at home?
No.
Baltimore. In Baltimore, we could certainly lose to them. I think we can beat them, but they're also really damn good.
Yeah.
Right. But are we going to lose to Cleveland after that? No. Cincinnati. I think we're going to beat them if they happen to go on a tear, right? Like, I think that we are 75-25, right, to beat them kind of thing. Maybe 80-20. But, like, this is honestly, this might be the only back-to-back where I'm like, I suppose we could lose to Cincy on the road and then Kansas City on the road. 2 road teams. A really good team, right? And could be good. We'll see how they start, right? Tampa Bay, if we lose to Kansas City, I still think that we beat Tampa Bay at home.
Lost from home,
Minnesota.
I'm confident we're better than they are.
Yes. And then the only other one on the entire schedule is on the road at Washington, on the road at Philly. That's the only other spot that I think is remotely back-to-back loss possible.
Of all the spots on the roster that we have looked at so far, or not roster, the schedule, this is the only one that I think is legitimately a chance that we lose 2 in a row. Yeah. They're both on the road. They're both against playoff teams. You lost to Washington.
I don't think it's probable, right? I think this is like it could happen. This is a far more probable. I still don't think we will. I think we will beat at least one of these 2 teams. Especially, I think it'll be Washington because we're not happy with what happened last year, how we played. It's like Dallas, right? What happened in Dallas, then we came back and just embarrassed them. I don't think we're going to beat them 52-10 or whatever we embarrassed Dallas at. But like I do think that we are going to beat them. This is going to be a really, really hard game. And then
I guess we just see things differently because I view Washington and Philly as a way tougher matchup back to back than I do Kansas City, Cincinnati.
Oh, so for sure. This is a far more likely to be a back to back loss. I think the other one is possible. I think it's possible that something happens in Cincinnati. And then we go into Kansas City. They're going to be a really damn. Kansas City's a coin flip. I think the coin is heavier on our side than theirs. I think we're more likely to win than lose. But they did make the Super Bowl. They do have one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the NFL, right? So that's not a for sure win. But these 2 are definitely the biggest threat to the 2 in a row on our entire roster, our entire schedule. Like terrible team, They've got
think
Aaron
they're bad.
Rodgers.
I think
they're
not
bad.
good. Yeah.
This is going to be the first year that they haven't made the playoffs in the Mike Tomlin era.
I will agree with that. I will agree.
That is not even. I wouldn't even consider that a bold bet. And then, yeah, I do feel like this is really our only real likely. I wouldn't call it likely, but the most likely of the two loss scenario.
If they go back to back, I mean, I have them losing to at Baltimore and at Philly. So, I mean, of those two things, I think that Washington presents the next best opportunity for them to lose a game in sequence. But I don't think that they do.
Because if you're right and we lose to Baltimore, there's no chance we're losing to Cleveland.
I mean, something crazy would have to happen. I mean, like it would have, like you'd have after the game, you'd say, well, that's why you actually have to go out and do it, right? Like,
yeah, because that's why they play the game.
You beat them 10 out of 10 times on paper.
Yeah. Well, it's like the Houston game last year, 5 turnovers, and we still ended up pulling it out. Like, it'd have to be that kind of just nonsense.
Yeah, that was nuts.
Yeah.
So, So, I agree. So, like, BD Buster has us going 13 and 4 o'clock, which is a bold statement.
13 and 4 o'clock. Yep. 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock.
That's right.
Yeah. That's
13 and 4, wins you the division. You're probably a 2 seed in the NFC. So I'd be cool with it. Yep. But so BD, I guess the more pressing question that I have is, who are they losing to? So, like, if we just go straight off the top, I would think Baltimore, Philly, Kansas City, mystery 4th team. But like, I think they match up really well with Kansas City, and I think
Philly, Baltimore, Kansas City, and then that 4th team could be Cincy, could be Washington.
Yeah, Washington.
Could be LA.
My pick, but like,
so those are the only 3 I think that are potentials: LA, Washington, and Cincy. Not in that order. Like, I don't maybe in that order. LA and Washington are probably be at the same level. They're in our tied for 3rd in the NFC. So like,
yeah,
they're both on the road.
Yeah, that's the big problem. That's the problem I have with this year. So like, they have 9 road games this year and 8 home games, and last year was the first year our division was swept. That's never happened before. Cool.
Yeah,
I think called that one. The division this year, like
that was one of my bold bets last year.
Yeah, it was. And like, Minnesota's got a rookie quarterback. Like, I love JJ for what he did at Michigan, but like, he's a rookie quarterback in the NFL, and most rookie quarterbacks in the NFL don't play well their first seasons. Jaden Daniels, you don't have to sit down at that table. But like, the Packers are too timid, and somehow they always seem to disappoint somewhere on their roster. And like, the problem with Green Bay is twofold. Number one, they always seem to have some spot on their roster where they're just underperforming. Wide receiver core, pass rush, whatever it is. And the second thing is that their coach is too timid. Their coach is just too timid, and Dan Campbell's just straight aggression, which is not going anywhere with the changing coordinators. Dan Campbell's aggression is going to capitalize on their timidity. So, like, yeah, exactly. I mean, and the Packers.
I'm going to find this shirt and I'm going to wear it on Sundays.
Okay.
I saw that. I'm like, this is awesome.
And I think it's really easy to be very optimistic about what the Bears did. They went out and spent in free agency. They got Ben Johnson as their coach, 2nd-year quarterback. Like, they have a solid group of skill position players. Like, I like their skill position players. I don't think they can run the ball, So I am comfortable finding a place to make other teams more one-dimensional than they want to be, right? And I would be, like, against the Vikings, I would line up in base because their running game is effective. Against the Packers, I would line up in base because their running game is effective. Against the Bears, I'm lining up in nickel because their running game isn't as effective. So like I would be interested to see the like defensive alignment stats for like how the Lions line up against divisional opponents this year, because I'm sure that they're going to line up in a way that tries to take away as much flexibility from their opposing offenses as they possibly can. And like, I just don't think that any of those defenses match up well against our offense. Like, they seem to have figured out the Vikings like crazy drop 8, rush 8 defense that Brian Flores runs. And like Jared Goff is still there. And like Jared Goff is the dude on the field enabling the strategy, right? So I think that matters a lot, whether or not there's a new defensive coordinator or not. And like Kelvin Shepard has been here the entire time too. So, I mean, he's just not a play caller yet. So, but he's been here and he knows, and he saw what Aaron Glenn did the whole time and figured out the Vikings. And then like, I just don't think that the other defenses in the division match up well with our offense. Like I am drinking the Kool-Aid so hard this year. Like I'm just guzzling it as fast as I can get it down my throat, right? So like I've always made fun of people that have reacted about teams like I am reacting about the Lions this year. But like this is the first time where I can't logic my way out of it.
Right.
So, I mean, like every other year, it's like, yeah, but yes, no, I'm scared. But now I'm not. It's just like, it just seems like
it feels weird, doesn't it?
It does feel weird. And like this year, like so many people that I bump into are like the thing that they talk about is like, oh, the turnover at interior offensive line and swoon the coordinators. And I'm just like, both coordinators have been in this building before. Like one guy's been nowhere but here, right? And then like the interior stuff, like the guy they just drafted in the second round is like a legit stud right guard who's never done anything but play right guard. And like even Graham Glasgow maybe being the 5th best lineman on that line is a dude who's been a starter in the NFL for like all but one of his seasons in the NFL and has 5 position versatility. And then the other guy played 2 games last year and was awesome in those games. So, I mean, like, maybe I'm not as comfortable with our offensive line as you are. Yeah, maybe not. So, but like, if we had that conversation and you tell me what the downside is and I say what the upside is, like, that's where I don't understand, like, not being on the upside. So, like, what is the downside of the interior of our offensive line? It's the fact that Frank Ragnow's not there. That's a loss. Like, there's no two ways about it. Like, that's a loss, right? Like, having
Zeitler was also a top 10 guard.
And, and Zeitler wasn't on the team 2 years ago. The Binky is gone, has Ben Johnson said. He's got to be typing on his phone. Yeah, maybe, and like, I think the only thing that Graham Glasgow really has to do to not have the drop off from Ragnow be as noticeable as it could be is just to get the rookies lined up.
Yeah.
If he does nothing else but basically call out the blocking assignments, which he can do because he may not be as physically talented or as large as Frank Ragnow, but he's not fucking stupid. So like,
he's not bad.
Right. He's not bad. He's just not as good as Frank Ragnow, but like, he can be like, you're blocking him, point, Omaha, whatever, So like, and like, yeah, Ben Johnson is gone and Ben Johnson was an excellent play caller, but I won't miss the trick plays and this team will still be aggressive. So, and like Mahogany and Ratledge are enormous. Like Penei Sewell is enormous. Taylor Decker is enormous. Like they have built this line to maybe be better than like, hey guys, if you don't know what to do, just go murder the dude in front of you. And like, these guys are physically capable of just doing that. So like at worst, they're just going to be like, move your dude off the ball and give it to Gibbs or Montgomery or whoever.
Get angry and get physical.
Like Tate Ratledge will put a dude into the turf and he'll be there forever because he's dead. Like it's a grave at that point. Like you'll have to play over him in the third quarter. So I mean, like that's the mentality of these guys. So I mean, they're just gonna go out there and they're just gonna crush people and like good players. They're gonna go out and they're gonna crush good players. So I will miss Frank Ragnow. The dude symbolized what it meant to be a Detroit Lion. Tough, work pale, bring your work to lunch, likes to fish on the weekends, kind of a dude, right? Played hurt, was excellent, all that shit.
Yep.
But I promise you, every player on this team right now will eventually not be on this team, and the team will still be around. So, I mean, like, turnover happens on NFL rosters. And, like, if people are out there being like, trusting Brad Holmes, all this nonsense, then you have to trust at this time, like, for these moves, that things are still going to work out. So don't just be like, and you, to be fair, you guys aren't doing that. But, like, for the people who are super concerned about it, been like, no, he was a great third-round pick. No, he's going to work out. I'm so Brad Holmes. Like, you have to be also confident about shit like this.
Right.
Bad luck from the Cowboys Reddit. Skip is now eligible for unemployment jokes. Yeah. Their Reddit can go fuck themselves because we embarrassed them like so bad in their own building last year that like Dan Skipper can forever just be like, y'all remember 2024? I mean, do you guys forget? So
if that dude didn't keep that football and have it mounted, he missed an opportunity because that was I was rooting for him. Like I never thought he was a great lineman, but like whenever I see a lineman catch a touchdown pass like that, especially after the shit that that we went through with Dallas, that was pretty great. So,
Mike, we didn't even talk about the most important thing to happen in the NFL today.
I was going to close with it. Congratulations are in order.
Yes, they are. So I have not seen. I'm just still shocked by how many people think that like the NFL can convince Taylor Swift to marry one of their stars
just for the
ratings.
Yeah,
like shocked. Like there was a guy online on Twitter today, so you know where this is going. That
right.
was like, oh, it's all a scam. Like, and it's like, and I'm like, it's a scam for what?
You're right.
For ratings? She
has so much money. Here's the thing: like he makes
She's a billionaire,
tens of millions of dollars.
She could buy a team.
Here's the crazy: Travis Kelce is not the dude bringing home the paycheck in that relationship.
No, it's so far away. Listen, that dude has been a really well-paid tight end in the NFL for like 10 plus years. He and his brother have a $300 million podcast deal. And he's nothing. He's nowhere close.
He's making tuppence.
Taylor Swift's only like musical competition for like biggest acts of all time are the Beatles and Michael Jackson. That's her competition.
Well, Beatles, Michael Jackson, probably Garth Brooks on the countryside.
Okay. I think we take
those
country,
are the three, right?
And we just put it over here for now. We just take country. We just put it over here for now.
In fact, he is the highest selling artist in the history of music.
Who is?
Garth Brooks. He has outsold Elvis.
Are we talking about albums?
Albums. But like he's I believe it goes Garth and then Elvis and then the Beatles are the top three. In fairness to Elvis and the Beatles, there's 100 million more people now to buy albums than there were in the 50s. But I believe he has the most diamond records, which is 10 million sold. He's got 7 of those. I think the next closest has 4, I think. But yes, you put Elvis, Michael Jackson, Garth Brooks, Taylor Swift those are the 4. Those are the 4 giant, you just can't compete with what they have done in their careers, sales wise, popularity wise, and all that kind of stuff. But
so yeah. How old is Garth Brooks?
Late 50s.
Taylor Swift is 35.
Yeah, he was born in 62.
If I had to bet how many albums Taylor Swift will sell by the time she is as old as Garth Brooks is today, I'm betting on Taylor.
Oh, she keeps it up for sure. Yeah.
The last thing the NFL wanted was to have cut down day be upstage. That's funny. I think Swift could soon own a team, but what city should house the Swifties? Well, so the team that I think, well, okay, that's a great question. I'm so into this right now. I know Mike wants to leave. What's the
cheapest franchise?
Cheapest NFL franchise. It's got to be the Cincinnati. The cheapest NFL team support considering the total average cost for fan experience. That's not what I wanted. NFL team evaluation.
Oh, well, I mean, let's see. NFL team values 2025. All right. The
Cincinnati Bengals, number 32.
Are they? Yeah.
Detroit's 31. Interesting.
Yeah, but yeah. The least valuable team, $5.5 billion for the Bengals.
I see them as of 22. Okay. 5.5 billion. So what is Taylor Swift worth? Is Taylor
I don't think it's 5 billion already. Oh no. I'm not sure is she a billionaire? I'm not sure she's worth,
according to Forbes, she's worth 1.6 billion.
Okay.
So she's only got to quadruple her net worth in order to be able to afford the Cincinnati Bengals of all teams. So
Carolina would have been a good guess.
I think location helps them there. So like Buffalo was a low ranked franchise.
Yeah.
And this is all about
Green Bay was probably low too, right?
Those fucking people. So yeah. So I think it's hilarious. Like in all seriousness, like I don't understand why people get so mad that she's in the press box at Chief games and dating Travis Kelce. And to me, congratulations, you guys are getting married. Like,
correct.
I don't, beyond that, I don't care. It's not my relationship. I don't watch the Chiefs. I watch the Lions. I don't listen to her music. I don't care if other people like it. So in the same way that I don't care if other people like Garth Brooks music.
Yeah. I've never been a celebrity guy. I just don't care.
Right. It doesn't
remember when
me at all.
Apparently there were a couple people that still are like kings, queens, princes, all that kind of royalty thing across the pond. And I think there was a wedding a couple years ago and everybody cared. And I'm just like, why? You know, when the royals over, you know, the English, I just don't understand why people give a crap about Princess
I work with a guy
or whatever her name is, and
I thought
Prince Harry
should have been here early, Kenny. I work with a guy that when the news broke, this is how much it affects football fans, right? When the news broke at my job, a guy got up and went around and told all the other people he knew liked football that Travis Kelce was engaged. And I was like, all right, neato. And then the dude that I sit next to, who very much loves conspiracy theories, that's about the nicest thing I can say, was like, you know, all that's staged, right? And I was like, I do not know that. Like, I'm willing to. This dude thinks that like Jurassic Park is real, and that he told me all these coincidences between the Lincoln,
the moon landing.
Oh God! And so like
9/11's an inside job, everything, right?
All of it, all of it. And like, I'm old enough to remember when Garth Brooks and Clinton Black were in competition.
That was 1989, my friend.
Yeah. So like, he has told me like, you know, the mafia controls all those like FanDuel sites, right? Like, and he has said the words like, you can call up Steph Curry and have him go 3 for 19 that night so that they can win money. And I was like, how often has Steph Curry gone 3 for 19, dude?
Yeah, they must not do that very often.
Yeah. Oh, Kenny's like, we landed on the moon. Kenny, bro, we got the rocks. We got the rocks, man. I heard something the other day that they wanted to put a nuclear reactor on the moon. Somebody's got a plan to put a nuclear reactor on the moon. And I'm like, what? Like, unless you're going to live there, like, that doesn't make any sense. Chris Gaines.
Not on the dark side.
I remember Chris Gaines, and I didn't understand what was going on with Chris Gaines. I'm like, that's Garth Brooks.
Yeah, it was.
And I didn't get it.
There was going to be a movie. It's called The Lamb. And it was about a rock star. And so he did the soundtrack for that. I don't know if he was supposed to play the lead character or if he just did the soundtrack. So Chris Gaines was the character in the movie. The movie ended up getting shit canned, but he had already done the album. And he's like, let's release the album. And to be honest, it's not that bad. I actually like a good chunk of the music, but because it was a country guy literally pretending, dressing up as somebody else, people were like, Chris Gaines. I'm like, dude, you should actually listen to the album. I bet if I played that album for a lot of people, they'd be like, oh, this isn't bad. Who is it? And we're like, it's Garth Brooks being Chris Gaines. Oh my gosh, I hate it now. But yes, then he also did semi-pro baseball. Actually, tried out for the Padres. He was a quite a good baseball player. Did not make the team, but yeah.
Well, he's no Michael Jordan.
He is no Michael Jordan or Bo Jackson.
God damn it! If there's an athlete if you were like, I would love to have seen his career had he not gotten hurt. Bo Jackson is right near the top of my list.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Top of my list. Like, that guy was an athlete almost unlike any other athlete. The top 1% of the top 1%. Like, just crazy athletic. So that's a real shame. So
all right,
we don't have
we could officially
day next week, and we don't have a football game to talk about next week. So, do you want to commit to doing bold bets?
We will do bold bets and basically preseason predictions. We'll talk about who we think are going to win each division.
Oh, okay.
And if we want to do a final, we kind of already just did it today, but let's do division winners, playoff prediction, bold bets next week.
All right, I'm down for it.
All right. Well, my dad is giving me a shout because he probably assumed that I was going to be done 45 minutes ago. So I'm going to take this, and I'll talk to y'all later.
He's never watched our show then. So,
all right. See you guys.
See you, Mike.